this November 25th, 2019 regular meeting of the City of Coolidge City Council to order. First item of business is the invocation. Reverend Philip Stowell from St. Michael's Episcopal Church will do the invocation, and after that, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, Reverend. It's good to see you again.
Last time I was here, the man who was supposed to do this didn't show up, so they pressed me in the service, so I have an extra credit.
There you go. That's right. Yeah.
Let us pray. Gracious God, as we approach this season of Thanksgiving, we give you thanks for all your gifts so freely bestowed upon us, for the beauty and wonder of your creation in earth and sky and sea, for the great resources of this nation and the men and women who have made this country strong, for the torch of liberty which has been lit in this land, and the faith we have inherited in all its rich diversity. We thank you for our daily food and drink, our homes and families, and our friends, for the brave and courageous who are patient in suffering and faithful in adversity, and for all valiant seekers after truth, liberty, and justice. Lastly, we thank you for the men and women of this City Council. In the days ahead, give them wisdom and understanding, counsel and strength, that upholding what is right and following what is true, they may always have a care only for what will promote good government. Send your blessing, we pray you, upon all first responders, members of our fire and police departments, healthcare professionals, city employees, and members of our military. Strengthen our efforts to blot out ignorance and prejudice, to abolish poverty and crime, and to provide relief for all who are in need, all of which we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of
United
America,
States of America.
and to the republic for which it stands,
Which stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with
indivisible.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Norma, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Jimmy Walker. Councilmember Tina Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Steve Hudson.
Here.
Mayor John Thompson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jackie Henry.
Here telephonically.
Councilmember Ben Navarro.
Here.
And Councilmember Tatiana Murrieta. Here. Thank you. We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Norma. Under proclamation, next item is presentations. The first is proclamations. Here it is. Small Business Saturday 2019. It's a proclamation. I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas the government of Coolidge, Arizona celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. According to the United States Small Businesses Administration, there are 30.7 million small businesses in the United States. They represent 99.7% of all firms with paid employees in the United States, are responsible for 64.9% of net new jobs created from 2000 to 2018. And whereas small businesses employ 47.3% of the employees in the private sector in the United States, and whereas 94% of the consumers in the United States value the contributions small businesses make in their community, and whereas 96% of consumers who plan to shop on Small Business Saturday said the day inspires them to go small, independently owned retailers or restaurants that they have not been to before or would have not otherwise tried. And whereas 92% of companies planning promotions on Small Business Saturday said the day helps their businesses stand out during the busy holiday shopping season, and whereas 59% of small business owners and Small Business Saturday contributes significantly to their holiday sales each year, And whereas Coolidge, Arizona supports our local business that creates jobs, boosts our local economy, and preserve our communities. And whereas advocacy groups, as well as the public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday, now therefore be it resolved that I, John Thompson, Mayor of the City of Coolidge, Arizona, do hereby proclaim November 30th, 2019 as Small Business Saturday and urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. So get out and shop the small businesses, especially the ones in Coolidge. Item 5 under presentations is a presentation by Dr. Manny Medina on Si Se Puede, Pinal County Latino Consortium Project. Welcome, Dr. Medina.
Thank you, Mayor Thompson, members of the council and audience. My name is Manuel Medina with Amistades. And you notice I slanted the first slide, Mayor, so that you could see it all.
And we appreciate that, Doctor.
The mayor and I share something in common. We're both from mining background, and so every once in a while we're able to take liberty with our interaction.
That's the way everything looks underground, Dr. Medina.
If you can see it underground. Anyway, now I'm here today, members of the council, Mayor, to talk to you about a very exciting program bringing to be able to do prevention, treatment, and recovery services on the whole opioid crisis in our community. So I'm with Amistades. Amistades is a drug prevention service agency and primary base out of Pima County that we're doing something in Cochise. And they put together a consortium of 6 different agencies in the area. Pinal Hispanic Council, of which Mayor Thompson is on the board. I believe you're president, if I'm not mistaken. No? See?
Yes, I am.
I just promoted you. Pinal Hispanic Council, as I mentioned, the city of Coolidge, the medically assistance, community medical services, they provide the medical assistant treatment program. The local health centers, Sun Life, and one other whose name escapes me right off the bat. Coolidge Prevention, how could I forget you? And it's really, it's a very innovative program because we are combining prevention, treatment, and recovery. These are the 6 different agencies that are involved in the particular initiative. How did we get here? The question has been raised for quite a while. We noticed that there's been about 3 different waves of recent opioid addiction pieces, but we have 130 million people that die every day from opioid overdose. 10.3 million people misuse prescription drugs. In the late 90s, the pharmaceutical companies told us that we wouldn't get addicted if we used some of the opioid medications. And so there was a lot of prescriptions that started off. And of course, by 2017, Health and Human Services declared a crisis, emergency crisis. There have been 3 waves, as I mentioned. The first wave was in the 90s, with overdose death moving to prescription drugs, natural and semi-syndicated opioids. The second wave was in 2010, with a rapid increase in overdose death involving heroin, which is really, heroin has never really left us. You know, we've been talking about a lot about the opioids, but heroin has been with us since back in the 60s, you know, as an epidemic. The third wave was in 2013, with a significant increase in overdoses. The extent of the problem is 2 million people in the United States are estimated to have overdose disorders, which is part of the treatment category labeling. Prescription drugs, heroin, and other illicit opioids. The efforts made to make a real headway stemming this crisis, and that's part of the program that's come together with this particular local initiative. Long-term retention of medication as a way of treating opioids is probably considered the best practice. Some people say that, why are we using some medication to just keep them addicted to another one. But we know that research shows us that the medication that's available now really is probably the best way to get people off the opioids for long term. In Coolidge, there were 10 fatal opioid overdoses and 26 non-fatal overdoses in 2018. And Sharon just informed me that a couple of weeks ago there was an overdose in one of the local middle schools as well. This is an alarming number considering there's only about 9,000 adults under the age of 75 in this community. So one of the things that we are particularly excited about that actually Sharon is helping us with, and that is the rising participation about young women and the fact that we've been able to do some work with them in this particular crisis. So one of the ways that we're looking differently now at opioid and substance use disorder, we're considering it as a chronic relapsing brain disorder, so that the medications that the medically assisted services really help stabilize those kind of issues around brain pieces, as opposed to just some of the behavior and social determinants of health. Let's add some water. The behavioral and social contexts are critically important, but the brain disorder is really the focus that future treatment is all about. So stopping opioid misuse is extremely difficult, as all of you are aware, but the medication normalizes some of the brain structures that are happening. Ah, yes, man. Oh my God.
You played in Miami. They don't have any football players over there.
My research is in serious mental illness and stress. And one of the most stressful things you can do is public speaking.
Even when you
So if I have a relapse, man,
I knew there was a reason.
one of the things that we've known for a long time now is that opioid use disorders is treatable, but even though it's a chronic disorder. And the results from the change in neural structures is really what accounts for some of the addiction. And everything that we do now, we know we realize, some of the evidence-based practices are cognitive behavior therapy, for example. But everything that we do, emotion, thinking, and behavior, we know originates in the brain. And that's kind of hard to wrap ourselves around that. But including addiction, that's part of the best practice that we're going to be doing with that as well. This is just basically the model that will be proposing. The first is that it's a prevention, treatment, and recovery. And these are the different things that the agencies are going to be providing in that relationship. Family self-care, the referrals are going to come from self and families, primary care physicians, court, parole, probation, other providers. We just had a meeting with drug diversion courts, and they already have some referrals for us, to be able to start sending them our way. This is just an idea of where we are with our different way of looking at what kinds of services that are available partially in the community, but not all the way. All the way from the least restrictive, which is prevention and education, which Sharon does, outpatient, clinical, medical, behavioral health, which is what two of the partners besides behavioral health, Hispanic. And partial care and day program, that's something that we don't currently have in the area. We do some outpatient medical detox, but not in Coolidge at this point. But I understand that Sun Life recently got approved to be able to use some of the new medications, so that might be coming along as well in the Coolidge area. 23-hour medical psychiatric observation is occurring in Florence. And of course, there's inpatient medical detox, but none in the area. So we have to go to Tucson or Phoenix for those kinds of services. They told me to keep it short, Mayor, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Dr. Medina, the one statistic that jumped out, we had 10 deaths. Is that correct? 10 fatal opioid overdoses
10 fatal opioid
in
overdoses
2018.
and 26 non-fatal overdoses in 2018. And all of this data comes in out of the Poison Control Center that tabulates all that statewide in counties and cities.
Well, I sure don't remember reading about 10 of them.
Pardon me?
I don't remember seeing that we had 10, but it comes out of the stats.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know what to tell them. I can give you the source, which
No,
is Poison Control.
that-
But you know, that's one of the issues about collecting accurate data, and that has always been that we roll it up from Pinal County, it gets rolled up, I believe, to Maricopa. And then sometimes we get lost in the shuffle or not.
Do we have any idea on the non-fatal overdoses on the 26? How many of them they utilized that Narcan on them? Yeah.
More than likely, that's really what they received, and probably one of the best sources of data is the police department. So that's something that we would.
Well, it just
We
so
hope to be
happens that we
working.
have one of our finer officers sitting right in the back of the room. I'm sure he'd be happy to mention that to us.
Mayor, some of the data on there too also comes from the Arizona Department of Health Services. It could be, they lump people into a certain zip code. And that's not necessarily is that the people died in our city. They could have died at an actual hospital or institution, but their address was somewhere in our zip code, so that's why you may have seen these numbers. But we're not gonna have that data because we didn't actually do the honors.
Okay, because I was going to say, I know that you guys have utilized, your officers have utilized the Narcan. You carry it with you guys, and you've utilized it because Chief Malinsky said you'd use it a couple of times a month.
Yeah, we actually, the Arizona Department of Health Services actually supplies us free Narcan. And
Yeah.
we actually just got another supply not too long ago to make sure we have plenty throughout our city.
So 2 times a month, 26 would sound right, but I know even in the multiple listing service in real estate, the 85128 zip code goes out into Johnson Ranch. So that would actually be if they do it the same way, you could be getting that 10 could include some stats, some fatalities out of Johnson Ranch. Okay, because I just seems like 10's an awful lot for Coolidge. I just didn't think we had 10.
Sure. Zip code base. Good questions, Mayor.
But you're going to be starting up a program that's going to involve our substance abusers here.
Absolutely. In fact, we already have a couple of referrals that are waiting in line once we opened up. We just hired all our full staff. So as quick as Ralph can get his space going for us, we'll be able to actually open up for business. We're already meeting with, as I said, court diversion program, probation and parole, and we're starting to set up meeting with some of the other, your police department has been really, they've always been collaborating really well for us. They've all sent referrals, helped pick up people, clients that needed to be taken over to 23-hour observation. They've done really great work with us, so I really appreciate and commend the Coolidge PD.
Well, good. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's anything we can do, and I'll mention it to Mr. Varela when I see him.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
want to have Sharon an opportunity to say anything. Go on.
I think I have a report next. It's going to be very short.
Yeah, the Youth Coalition's up next.
Thank you.
Thank you. Huh? You guys have any questions?
No, my brother-in-law's nephew just died of pharmaceutical drug overdose just last week, and 20 years old, and very very devastating to the community.
Absolutely. That's the whole thing. It doesn't just affect one individual. It affects families, extended families, and in smaller communities like Coolidge, it affects the entire community. It really is felt. Yes.
Well, I've worked with Dr. Medina for many years in different communities, probably over the last 30 years. So he knows what he's doing, but yeah, it's a never-ending battle with
It is. It is.
heroin has been constant.
Heroin's been
Other
constant.
things
Yeah.
come and go, but heroin seems to stick around.
Yes.
They really like it.
And that's actually one of the leading drugs, the overdoses.
But we'll continue to fight the fight.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Thanks. Okay, item 6, monthly report by the Coolidge Youth Coalition. Welcome.
Hi. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor on the telephone, and members of the City Council. My name is Sharon Boyd, and I am the Director of the Coolidge Youth Coalition. I'm here tonight to support Dr. Medina and the Amistades Si Se Puede project in the Pinal County Latino Consortium. Coolidge Youth Coalition is a proud partner of this project, and this council has been supportive of our prevention efforts for the last 10 years. So we are excited to branch out into this Latino Consortium project. I'm going to give you some overall stats, not just Coolidge. Did you know that RX opioid abuse and overdose in the United States, including treatment and the crime stats that go along with it, and loss of work productivity, is estimated at $80 billion to the United States? And these stats right here are why it's critical to offer prevention, treatment, and recovery to our families here in Coolidge. And as I said, we are proud to be a core partner in the Latino Consortium project, and it has been my privilege to meet and work with Dr. Medina, who is so knowledgeable. I'm learning so much from him, and we are excited to bring much-needed resources to the Coolidge community, including the target population of Latina women, 24 to 34, that have been falling through the cracks on some risk behaviors. And with Dr. Medina's help, we will reach out with some prevention to them. I'm just going to reiterate that substance use and addiction impacts millions of individuals and families, not only here in Arizona, but nationwide. And what I'm here to tell you tonight is there is hope. Recovery is possible. And that is why it is so important to support our prevention, treatment, and recovery efforts. Sometimes they're unsung and we don't get to talk as much as we'd like, but they're very, very important out there for all of our families that are going through this. And there's not one of us, I don't believe, that substance abuse hasn't touched our lives, that we don't know somebody, that is going through this. It affects families. It's devastating to families. It's devastating to our youth. And like Dr. Medina said, it's just not the person that's going through the addiction. And it affects everyone who loves them that has to go along through this journey with them. And it is quite a journey. So thank you, Coolidge City Council, for your support. You've always supported us, and I can tell you're going to support us again. So thank you for that, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Sharon. We appreciate it. Okay. Now we'll move into the call of the public. This is the portion of the meeting where if you need to address the council, you can step to the podium and give us your name and your address, and you'll have 3 minutes to address us. Oh, there's our first individual.
Yes, my name is John O'Brien, and I live at 413 North McCrae Road. I've lived in that area for 35 years. 13 years ago, the city decided to annex us in. We were in the county. And at that time, I was in on a 5-year plan that the county had set up to where if you have a need and can show it for 5 years, that then they will come and blacktop or chip seal your road. And that was going along real well for 3 years. And then all of a sudden the city of Coolidge decided that they were going to start with one of their first nowadays annexations. And they came up with this sewer annex to get it into the city. And so then the county told me, well, forget it, you're not going to get your road paved by us, because the city of Coolidge is going to be responsible to do your road. So that annexation didn't go through, but then they came up with a new annexation that did take us in. And at the time, Bob Flatley was the city manager, I think, and he said, oh, well, no problem, we'll take care of your road and everything. So we thought, well, that's going to happen. Well, then the housing boom kind of fell apart, and then things just didn't ever happen. Well, since in the 13 years that we've been in the city, 3 people have died within a half a mile of my house because of the road, partially the road and partially alcohol, I'm sure, or drugs. But anyway, the road is very poor condition, and one time when the Skousen Bridge was shut down, we had all the traffic, coming down our road. So it just got worse. Well, anyway, we have 6 homes in the area of Bechtel and McRae, and that encompasses 15 people live in those 6 homes. And so anyway, we would like to know how we can actually really get on track and have some kind of an answer from somebody as to when we might get our road paved. Just last week, the trash company did not pick up the trash on Thursday like they were supposed to because the road was too bad. Well, that's not very good. Yeah, they finally got it this morning. At noon they came and picked up our trash, because the trash is usually on Thursday. So I guess I'm running out of time. But anyway, we hope that somehow we can get some kind of answer. I realize it won't happen today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. We'll look into it. If you haven't already talked to Mr. Rencher, the gentleman there there he is. He will talk to you before you leave. And I would tell you that I'm not a fan of some of the clauses in the agreement with the trash company. Sometimes they won't go down muddy roads if it's too muddy for them. That's in the contract that we have with them. So I don't know. We would have to find out if that's the reason they didn't come out and pick it up, or if it was another reason.
But this is the 3rd time they've done it to us. So.
Was it raining every time?
Yeah.
That's probably it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll try to change that if we get another shot at it. No, those guys like driving in the mud. So, that's why our garbage trucks broke down. So, but we'll work on it.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
Mayor, our next speaker is Heidi Miller.
Okay.
Hello, my name's Heidi Miller. I want to make it clear I'm not here representing Oscar Rodriguez, and I'm not here representing the Coolidge Veterans Commission. In fact, I may be stepping down for a while from the Coolidge Veterans Commission board because I've started an endeavor on an educational and political campaign. Unlike some of the people I've been talking to lately, I do believe in having a Chamber of Commerce. Some of them feel like we shouldn't have one at all. In my hometown, I think they have a pretty effective one. However, I had it confirmed to me by a Chamber of Commerce board member that the Chamber of Commerce gave $10,000 to the Artisan Village to hire a lawyer to fight the Coolidge Veterans Commission over the Military Honor Park. That was $10,000 they lost because they lost the case. Now, my father was mayor of the town when I was growing up for quite a few years, and one of the things he told me was, do your homework and you'll make good decisions. Now, I had done my homework, and I would have bet good money on the fact that we were going to win, even despite the fact that we did not even get to present 90% of the evidence. We still won. And if they had done their homework appropriately, they would have realized they were wasting $10,000, and $60,000 from the city goes to the Chamber of Commerce. Now, in my mind, I've gone to the Chamber of Commerce when I first moved here 4 years ago, and I looked around and I'm like, well, that does not look A+, it looks like C- to me. They've got dirt, they've got weeds, they've got boards holding up the cactus. And that money, if they had $10,000, should have gone to represent that city and make it look A+. And I can tell you this, the average Chamber of Commerce members that are not on the board do not know about this, and I am talking to them, and they are not happy campers. We want to know, my church is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, when we're going to get our $10,000. And the thing of it is, the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce is also a board member of the Artisan Village. To me, this is a conflict of interest, and it's corruption, and I am not happy about it. And the other thing is that I'm talking to people about the fact that the Artisan Village that gets $30,000 from the city has the vice mayor and the president of the Performing Arts Center, which is the parent company of the Artisan Village, are married to each other. And people are not happy about that fact, and they're not aware of it. So I want to see some of this stuff cleaned up, and I think we need to see new leadership, or like I told Tom Shope, we may not have a Chamber of Commerce. I went and took out a $1 million revenue company because of the ethical violations when I was a social worker. Believe me, make some changes, and do what's right. I'm just hoping and praying that the truth will prevail and that the right things will be done. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Norma.
Yes, Mayor, we have one more speaker, Taylor Hanson.
Hello. I haven't done this before, so just tell me if I'm out of line or you need more information. I wanted to address item 18, requesting that it be tabled due to certain payment issues with my company and the property owner, and also with a neighboring owner of the site that I wanted more time to communicate the effects of Mike Lafferty's development with.
Taylor, you're probably going to have to wait till we call that item. Oh, that's, we'll pull it off of the, item 18, we'll pull it off of the agenda, and we won't put it on the consent. We'll pull it off and talk about it.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Thanks.
All right. All right. That it?
So all the speakers
Nobody
are here. Is
did.
there someone else out there?
All right. Is there anybody else that wants to address the council? Okay. Seeing nobody approach, we'll move out of the call of the public, and we'll move into public hearings. Mr. Lopez. The first one is item number 7, to receive public comments on portions of land located in sections 25 and 36, Township 5 South, Range 8 East of the Gila and Saw River Base and Meridian of Pinal County, Arizona, known as the PR 155 annexation. This is a public hearing. You'll have a chance to speak to this at the public hearing after Mr. Lopez gets done.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members, as you stated, this is the annexation for PRI, which is they own a significant amount of land around this area that's already in the city. So what they're trying to do is bring in the additional pieces that they own into, and they approach the city to do that. So the city staff recorded a blank petition to annex 156.7 acres on October 31st, 2019. So part of the statute requires that we have this public hearing during this 30-day waiting period. And so all the requirements from the state statutes are met. So this one and the other two annexations are the same company, PRI. They're just different pieces, and we couldn't do them together because they're not contiguous. So that's why we have them under 3 separate public hearings. So this is a one-owner annexation, as stated, and if successful, we'll take in like half a paved mile of Martin Road, and it would be added to the maintenance inventory. An advertisement of the public hearing was provided and published in the Coolidge Examiner on November 13th, 2019. And again, this is a public hearing only, so no action will be taken at this time. So we recommend the mayor and council hold a public hearing for the PRI 155 annexation. And we'll answer any questions you may have.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Do anybody up here have any questions?
No, sir.
Down here?
No.
Anybody in the public have anything they want to add to this? Did the other Mr. Hanson have anything he wants to add? Do you have anything you want to add? No?
Mayor, we have a representative from, Chris Webb is here with, it's Summit Land Development, and they're the representative of the PRI group, if we need to have them say anything.
He's more than welcome to say something if he wants to. If he doesn't, okay. All right. If there's nobody else that wants to speak, then I guess we'll move out of that public hearing and we'll move to item 8. I don't need a motion to do that, do I? Okay. We'll move into a public hearing on item number 8 to receive public comments on portions of land located in Section 31, Township 5 South, Range 9 East of the Gila and Salt River Basin Meridian of Pinal County, Arizona, known as PRI-160 annexation. Mr. Lopez.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members, again, this is also PRI. It's the property to the furthest away from me or closest to you. It's about approximately 159.2 acres, so that's why it's named the 160 annexation. And again, it meets all the requirements that were satisfied for the state statutes. This annexation doesn't include state land. It's a one-owner annexation, and it's successful. It'll be half a mile of paved Attaway Road that will be added to the inventory for the city. And again, the advertising was done for this public hearing November 13th, 2019 in the Coolidge Examiner. And we recommend the City Council and the Mayor and City Council hold a public hearing, and we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, again, this is a public hearing. You guys have any down here?
No.
Tatiana? Anybody have anything they want to say regarding this? Not seeing anybody charge the podium, we will move out of this public hearing, and we will move into a public hearing on item number 9 to receive public comments on portions of land located in sections 34, 35, and 36, Township 5 South, Range 8 East of the Gila and Salt River Basin Meridian of Pinal County, Arizona, known as PRI-320 annexation. Mr. Lopez.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members, again, this is a PRI annexation. It's the one closest to me here. It's the largest piece, 322.8 acres. And again, all the requirements of state statutes have been satisfied like the other previous two. This is a one-owner annexation again, requiring the signature of the current owner of record. Successful will take in a quarter mile of paved Christensen Road and 3/4 of a mile of Knapziger, and it would be added to the maintenance inventory. Again, the advertising was done the same as the other two, November 13th, 2019. And we recommend that the City Council, Mayor and City Council hold a public hearing to receive public comment. And we're here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, this is a public hearing. No. Anybody? No? Up here? Anybody in the audience? Man, I don't see anybody charging forward. So, nobody's coming forward. I guess we will move out of this public hearing. And that does it for our public hearings. Now we're going to move into business items for consent. I would ask members of the council if there are any items that they want to pull off the agenda. I'm going to, we already know 18's coming off, and I'm going to take, I have a few questions on item 13. So those two will be coming off. Other than that, I'm ready to go if you guys are. All right, here we go. Consent agenda. Item 10. Consider approval of a request from United Dance Company to close Roosevelt Avenue between Main Street East to the alley for the annual toy giveaway hosted by United Dance Company and Reach USA, being held on Sunday, December 22nd from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. Item 11, consider approval of entering into a sub-recipient agreement number 190303-01 between the Arizona Department of Homeland Security and the City of Coolidge Fire Department for acceptance of the 2019 Homeland Security Grant in the amount of $41,600 to fund one communications server and external RAM and improve the expenditure of said funds. Item 12, consider approval of entering into a financial services agreement and addendum with Piper Jaffray and Company to provide advice relating to the cash defeasance of a portion of the Greater Arizona Development Authority Infrastructure Revenue Refunding Bonds, Series 2014 Atom, and any additional issues to be identified in an amendment to the agreement in and authorizing the Finance Director to execute the agreement. Item 14, consider approval of entering into a cooperative purchasing agreement based on Pinal County IFB PC-130118 for supply, delivery, and application of pavement maintenance materials between the City of Coolidge and Western Emulsions, Inc., and subsequent renewals in the amount not to exceed $150,000 for the FY 1920 street work program. Item 15, consider approval of entering into a cooperative purchase agreement based on the Maricopa County contract IFB 171088-Charlie for aggregate materials between the City of Coolidge and CalMat Company, DBA, doing business as Vulcan Materials Company, and subsequent renewals in the amount not to exceed $65,000 plus applicable taxes for the FY 1920 street work program. Item 16, consider approval of entering into an agreement between the City of Coolidge and Holbrook Asphalt, LLC, through the City of Mesa Cooperative Purchasing Agreement to purchase high-density mineral bond asphalt HA5 seal coat for the street work program at a cost not to exceed $115,000 plus applicable tax, and authorizing the mayor to execute the necessary documents. Item 17, resolution number 19-26, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the City of Coolidge, Arizona, finding certain facts and adopting a major amendment to the 2025 general plan for the City of Coolidge, Arizona, to expand the planning area boundary and designating land use classifications in 3 areas shown on Exhibit A. Item 19, resolution number 19-28, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the City of Coolidge, Arizona, finding certain facts and adopting a major amendment to the 2025 general plan for the City of Coolidge, Arizona, to add the neighborhood business C1 zoning classification to the list of appropriate zoning in the downtown core land use classification. Item 20, resolution number 19-29, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the City of Coolidge, Arizona, adopting the Coolidge 2025 general plan major amendment schedule for 2020. All right, what's everything else? 21. Item 21. Consider approval of the claims for the month of October 2019. Okay, I need a motion on everything except 13 and 18. Roll call.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion that we approve consent agenda items 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21 as read.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Norma, there's some resolutions, so we'll have to have a roll call.
Okay. Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to move into 13. Consider approval of entering into a legal representation agreement with Sherman Howard LLC to serve as special counsel to the City of Coolidge in connection with the 2019 defeasance of the 2014 Greater Arizona Development Authority loan and authorizing the Finance Director to execute the agreement. Now, the reason that I wanted to look into that was the letter, the 4-page letter that we received in our packet, written, authored by, I had some questions. Zachary Sakis. I don't know if I'm, there he is. Okay, so I just found a couple of things that were, I just needed some clarification on that I found that were strange. And on page 2 of the letter itself, 81 of my packet, on the attorney-client relationship, it says, "We do not represent the city council, its individual members, or the city employees, but you represent the citizens of Coolidge." Could you kind of explain that? How you could represent the city citizens, but I mean, I can kind of get a concept, but the city council's footing the bill, but you don't have anything to do with us, or?
Thank you, Mayor. Zach Sakis with Sherman and Howard have had the pleasure of being bond counsel to the city for since about 2016. So the easiest example is an example I know we'd never have in Coolidge, but there have been other cities and towns where maybe a rogue city manager or city official would maybe put forward incorrect information in a bond offering document. And so in that case, my firm represents the city. And so if we were to identify some activity like that, we're acting in the interest of the city.
Okay, so if somebody did, since you don't represent us, then I guess our own attorney would represent us in that.
Not if you go rogue, Mayor.
I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'm just, but I'm just curious because when I read through this and I left my notes, well, with adverse representations is what you're referring to is.
Well, I think
in the letter.
I think, Mr. Mayor, their objective is to give us the best possible advice. The city of Coolidge, the best possible advice.
Okay.
And so that's who they represent. And if for some reason city administration or council didn't want to follow that advice, they still have to give you the best possible advice with regards to the project and with regards to the bond. And that's who they're going, I mean, that's why it's set up that way.
Okay. And I just wanted some clarification because we represent the citizens too, and so do you, but you don't represent us.
And at the end of every transaction, my role as bond counsel, including for the defeasance we're considering, is I deliver an opinion from my firm that says everything has been done in accordance with law. We've complied with state law. We've complied with federal law. As you know, when the city sells bonds or entered into the GOTA loan, the interest portion is tax exempt. And so it's making sure that potential investors in the transaction can rely on that, and that making sure the city goes through all the correct steps and then maintains the correct steps in the case of this loan prepayment.
Okay. I had a couple other things, but I don't have that document with me where I wrote my notes when I went through it. So that was my main thing. I was just interested about that. Let me look through here. So we're not. I mean, I can't remember too many times that we've done this. So this is kind of new. If you were a developer, we know how to handle you, but this is a new thing for most of us. Okay. And so if we wouldn't have, I did find it kind of, I read through a lot of it. Well, I read through every one of them. We get through different, and a lot of them are the same. But I think one of the first times I read the paragraph that was if we didn't really respond, that, that it would just go ahead and go into effect.
Many,
I thought that was kind of strange.
yeah, and we can remove that on the
No,
next
no,
one
no,
if you'd
no.
like.
I
It's-
mean, we're here now,
Oh, yeah.
we know what's going on, but I just, I had to see that.
Many clients, we send the engagement letter and have already started on the transaction, and they want us to continue proceeding and continue work, and sometimes are delayed in returning the signed engagement letter.
That was one of the things I thought that was kind of unusual, because we don't generally see that. But, so now, if we go through with this, which I don't see any reason that, I'm gonna vote for it, but I'm just saying, what will happen now?
So-
If it gets approved by the council?
So on December, we've already prepared draft documents to approve the transaction that's related to that contract. On December 9th, there will be a resolution for council to consider regarding the prepayment of the loan. At that point, we'd work with Gabe, the city's financial advisor, Nick from Piper, to prepay the GATA loan and document it correctly, ensuring that the city's in good standing throughout the prepayment process, complying with the Greater Arizona Development Authority rules and complying with state and federal tax rules.
Okay. Well, I know you guys do a good job, that's why you're here. But I see there's an extra 1,000 in there, is that part of, is that extra 1,000 that Gabe didn't tell me about, part of the trip down here tonight?
No, I think those were just costs, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Those
just
were
wondered.
costs.
I mean, that's
Those
our
were
job to
actual
ask.
expenses. They'll incur.
Ben asked that I ask, and so I thought,
Pardon me?
you know.
He's doing my dirty work.
No, that's the safety estimate if there's recording costs, but
That's, money's not, you know, I'm giving you a hard time because you never smile. So anyway, I don't have any more, but you guys have any questions? I'm glad this was one
Most
that
people don't
I've
read
never
them, so I
seen, so I
appreciate
was, it kind of caught my attention, because when you start to, everybody piggybacks off everybody, all the contracts are the same, except there's certain things in every one that are a little different. And I read yours, and I was like, well, these guys are really, but, Gabe said you guys were a little different, so I was, prepared. But, that's all I have. Do you guys have any?
No, you asked my question.
Okay, thank you. All right, then I need a motion to act.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor of approving item 13?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much. We look forward to working with you. Oh, okay. All right. All right, I'm looking forward to it. But item 18.
That'll be another time.
Resolution number 19-27, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Coolidge, Arizona, finding certain facts and adopting a major amendment to the 2025 general plan for the city of Coolidge, Arizona, to change the general plan land designation from industrial and manufacturing to urban neighborhood on approximately 25 acres of land, more or less, described as the northwest quarter of Section 15, lying west of the Southern Pacific Railroad, Township 7 South, Range 8 East of the Gila and Salt River Basin Meridian, Pinal County, Arizona, except the north 1,855.51 feet thereof. Mr. Lopez.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members, this is a property that we talked about before. It went through P&Z, and basically it's 25 acres that we're recommending to be changed from industrial to urban neighborhoods, so that, if you recall, this developer wanted to provide affordable housing for Nicola and some of the other developments that are located in the IPAS, and also would be able to potentially provide housing to workers from the federal prisons across the street.
It's the one, what is it, off of Hannah or whatever?
Right, and because of the nature of this, we thought it was appropriate to bring this before you. And so this is the workforce housing, and we're just, as a recommendation from us, from staff, just strictly on the item at hand, is that we recommend Mayor and Council adopt the resolution approving the major general plan amendment to the 2025 general plan land use map. And basically what it does, it goes from industrial and manufacturing to urban neighborhood on approximately 25 acres.
Okay, so I'm curious, pulled it off Mr. Hans, come on up and why, what are your concerns? State your, for those that don't know you, which I don't know who doesn't, but state your name and your address, please.
My name's Taylor Hanson. My business address is 115 South Main Street, Hanson Engineering and Surveying. I've done work for Mike Lafferty for, off and on for the last 20 years and got involved with him on this project. I don't know, he just seemed like a different person, and it is a neat project. It's a good project. It came down to a payment for services issue that I was hoping to get this tabled on him so I don't lose any leverage. But also in the meantime is what came up. I was working for George Nolan to the north, and I know notices to the public go out on adjoining landowners. He was, they don't give a lot of detail, and there's some specifics in the setback who I would like to make him aware of how that's going to affect his property when it gets zoned residential, commercial, whatever it is, anything but industrial. It has some dramatic effects on his building setbacks from what I'm seeing. And so I was kind of hoping to get some more time to talk with him about it, along with the main thing driving this is payment issues, but it's also in the interest of another client of mine. So I didn't know how appropriate it was to ask to table it, or if it was kind of a last resort kind of thing.
Well, Mr. Hanson, I think that there's some time limitations on this, are there not, Gilbert? Well, there's another Hanson here. You guys argue all the time. Maybe you should, I'm just curious, isn't there some time limitations on this? I mean, don't we have, when we're changing the plan, aren't we supposed to have it done by a certain time? Mr. Fitzgibbons?
What, Mr. Mayor, you talking about we do this once a year, at one hearing a year? Tonight's the night, is what we do it.
So it's either, I want to see you get paid, but.
Yeah, and I know that's not your problem to collect my bills.
Don't we send out letters, though, to the adjoining properties?
Yeah.
And your guy would have had an opportunity.
He would have. They're not real specific, but you're exactly right. I was just, it was in his interest
to. You do a
to.
lot of stuff but, we can't, it's not, I think we only got one shot at it. So.
I didn't know it came up once a year. I thought it was like a monthly thing and got tabled to the next month, but I guess not.
I think that's the way it is. I think we only got one shot.
It looks like I think it's 9416.06 sub H, it says all major amendments to the general plan proposed by adoption by the governing body of a municipality shall be presented at a single public hearing during the calendar year that the proposal is made. It got presented during the public hearing. I'm trying to figure out the vote. Can the vote be taken on? I think it's all done on one night, though. I don't think we've ever do these on multiple nights, have we? A major general plan amendment?
I don't know.
Okay, Tim.
Mayor Thompson, council members, Mr. Fitzgibbons. I'm Tim Hanson, City of Coolidge.
You guys aren't related.
What are they?
Are
they cousins or brothers?
The major amendment schedule adopted by council near the end of each year, we might even have one on tonight, has published dates that we have to adhere to when these things get agendized for 2 required public hearings and then possible action by council. We have met that requirement by getting it here tonight.
We don't have.
You may be able to table it, and looking the code, you will have 1 or 2 meetings after this to make a decision. I don't know which one of those it is. It's 1 or 2, but you wouldn't be able to just keep kicking the can down the road. You would have to act at some point.
Well, I'm not.
One way or another.
Yeah.
We have met the requirements of the adopted schedule by bringing it here now, and so it's a matter of yay, nay, table, talk about it, whatever the council's pleasure is.
Well, I want to see Mr. Hanson get paid, but as far that would be the issue, because as far as the other part of it, I mean, we send notification out to the other owners within, what, 300 feet or whatever it is?
Mayor Thompson, council, all the statutory requirements related to notification and publication of paper have been met.
So,
Our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed from a city perspective.
okay. Then, Mr. Lopez?
Mayor.
You think we should, what's your opinion? I mean, staff recommends we move forward with it.
Yeah, the issue, and I don't know what the liability would be if we were to table for a private dispute on fees.
Yeah,
From the applicant, I mean, I also don't like the fact that it's our local engineering company here that's having an issue, you know, I mean, that certainly isn't something we like to see. But on the other hand, I don't know what happens if it's tabled and then somehow it doesn't go through, then we have to wait. If we don't meet all the requirements, we have to wait another year.
well, and then we have, you know, somebody on the other side that's trying to do business in Coolidge, and we have that issue.
Well, that's what, it sounds biased, obviously, but I'm the first guy in line, and he's already, going after me. It's just like, is this the guy you want working in town, And he's always been fine to work with. Last time I worked with him was 10 years ago, and maybe the recession changed him or something, who knows?
Well, I think there's something we can probably do, but
I just wonder if that's who you want working with you.
I think, we're inclined to probably go ahead and vote on it tonight, and I think we can probably, there's other ways I think we can help.
Yeah, well, I appreciate anything.
Okay.
Appreciate you listening to me. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Unless there's,
No, I don't think we should be involved in collecting someone else's debt.
all right. Okay, then in that case, is this got a, it is I need a motion to add.
Mayor, I make
So
a motion.
moved.
Second it.
Okay, motion is second. All right, Norma.
Councilmember Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilmember Murieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if I can find, all right. Now we'll move into the business regular items. Item 22. Consider approval to unfreeze $50,000 in the capital sales tax fund budget to purchase replacement computers for various departments and approving the purchase of said computers from Revive IT for an amount not to exceed $23,987.07 and waiving the bid process in the best interest of the city. Oh, Robbie, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. This is a continuation from a project we started earlier this year. We purchased about the same amount of computers for pretty much all the city computers except for the police department. There's a few other, they're listed in there in a spreadsheet of all the computers being replaced. But basically, in summary, Windows 7 loses support from Microsoft in January, and we're replacing all of the city computers with Windows 10. So the first half was already done earlier this year. This is to purchase the rest of the computers from the same company we bought the last time, and so we can get everything to a supported operating system. So once Microsoft drops support for Windows 7, we'll be good to go. Other than that, it's the same refurbished computers. They have a 3-year warranty. Their company has a facility, I believe it's up in Mesa, but up in the valley. So they're with an hour drive if we have any support issues, and we haven't really had any major problems with the first batch. So just continuing what we've been doing.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
No, we just had to go through it also, so.
Down here?
No.
All right. Vice Mayor? Hello? Okay, I need a motion.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve item 22 as read.
I second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 23, Ordinance number 19-18, an ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Coolidge, Arizona, rezoning a certain parcel of land from planned area development PAD to agricultural AG, consisting of approximately 1.39 acres, more or less, located at 1031 East Lauren Lane. Mr. Lopez.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members, we've had these before you. The last meeting, I believe, we had some, and this is KLC Ranch, and if you recall, the PAD zoning that's over this right now requires a 40-foot rear PAD setback for accessory buildings, and when we looked at everything, converting it back to agriculture would be the right thing, because then you could do like a lot of other ag uses, which is 10 feet from the rear, so it fixes some issues that are inherent to the PAD zoning that we didn't anticipate, I think, at the time they did this. We don't know how it happened, but it was on the plan. So this going back to the agriculture serves all the needs of the houses in this area. And so we're doing them one at a time because they're applying for this individually. So I think next time we come before you on the 9th, we'll have them grouped together under one item. And but right now, the way they applied is separate, so we're bringing to you one at a time. So the next three are the same thing, just different lots, different people.
We've done some of these before.
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
No? Okay. Then we need a motion to do something on item number 23.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 19-18 as read.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
Councilmember Navarro?
Yes.
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson? Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Fitzgibbons? I know somebody who may or may not reside in this next place. So maybe I shouldn't vote on this one.
That's fine, Mr. Mayor. You can recuse yourself
I
if you
will
want to.
recuse myself.
Okay.
Because I don't want to
Can
be.
the Vice Mayor, it might
Mayor.
be difficult to take over
Yes.
the hearing telephonically. Are you going to be okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let me get my glasses on. Sorry.
Can't believe you were at a meeting without your glasses.
Okay. Hold on. I hit the wrong button. Okay. So we're on item
24.
24, okay. Ordinance number 19-19, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of City of Coolidge, Arizona, rezoning a certain parcel of land from planned area development, PAD, to agricultural, AG, consisting of approximately 1.39 acres, more or less, located at 1037 East Lauren Lane.
Vice Mayor Henry, council members, as stated before, this corrects and allows uses that are already there, but it changes and allows the setbacks to be reduced to be more consistent with other properties around it. So we recommend approval based on that and one following. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
This property being in the middle and not on the end, how's that going to affect the other property owners on the sides?
They'll have, if the other property owners, it won't really affect them at least if they all go ahead and change. The only thing would be that this an accessory building could be a little closer to the side rear property line. But behind it, there's fields of cotton, so it goes from 40 to 10, and that's the rear setback. So,
what are the height restrictions on the building that they can put out there?
if it's an acre minimum, it used to be that you have to go through a conditional use permit if it was over 800 square feet. But since these are acre and a third, I believe, then you don't have to do that anymore because it's ag zone, and you changed that ordinance about 6 months ago. Yeah, so it's 28 feet. Yeah, 28 feet maximum. And it used to be that you couldn't exceed the height of the main dwelling, but now you can go higher.
Okay, that's all I have.
Are there any other questions?
No, Vice Mayor.
Okay. Call for a motion.
I move we approve item 24.
I second it.
All in favor?
Whoa. We need a roll call. Vice Mayor, we need a roll call.
Okay, sorry. Norma, a roll call?
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
And Councilmember Kaufman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
You're welcome.
Item 25, ordinance 19-20, an ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Coolidge, Arizona, rezoning a certain parcel of land from planned area development to agricultural consisting of approximately 1.39 acres, more or less, located at 1128 East Lauren Lane. Mr. Lopez.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members, again, this KLC Ranch, all the facts that we stated before apply to this property also. And we'll have more next time on the 9th before you, and we'll have them grouped together. So we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any more questions? Certainly you can think of something.
I'm good.
Okay. Hope code enforcement likes your dad's house. Anyway, let's see here. Okay, if there's nothing, I need a motion.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion we approve ordinance number 19-20 as read.
Okay.
Second.
Motion is second, Norma.
Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro?
Yes.
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 26, resolution number 19-30, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Coolidge, Pinal County, Arizona, declaring and adopting the results of the special bond election held on November 5th, 2019. That's you, Norma.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor Henry, and members of the council. Before you tonight for consideration and approval is the resolution which canvasses the results of the special bond election held on November 5th, 2019. This was an all mail-in ballot, and the results were as follows. For the bond approval, yes, we had 732 votes. For the bond approval, no, we had 688. We had 1 overvote and 29 undervotes for a total of 1,450 ballots cast at that election, and Proposition 434 was successful. So we are asking council to adopt the resolution so we can canvass those results and move on to our next step. And I can answer any questions you have.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, then I need a motion.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion we approve resolution number 19-30 as read.
I second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on it.
Okay, Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, report from the mayor and/or council and city manager. We'll start down here with Tina.
Last weekend I attended the event at the ruins. It's the announcement, introduction of the pollinator garden, which I think is going to be a real neat addition to the property at the ruins. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get some of our citizens, I'm hoping especially our younger school-age children, involved in the ruins to make it theirs and kind of own a piece of that, and then just keep things moving forward with community and citizen involvement with the ruins. It's kind of a really neat place, and if you ever have the opportunity to meet Dr. Craig out there, real intelligent guy, real personable guy, he knows his stuff. That's really about all I had. We're moving into the holiday season, this week being Thanksgiving. Just everybody be safe so that you are actually able to enjoy the time with your families and be thankful for the time that you've got with them. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
Yeah, I had attended a funeral for a young man, 20 years old, born and raised here in Coolidge, J. Anthony Garza, who overdosed. Attended the funeral. There was a huge turnout. He's related to my brother-in-law, and it's pretty tough when you have to tell your 12-year-old granddaughter why a 20-year-old kid made a decision that he made. And just would like to tell all the kids out there, the choices you make could end your life. It could be harmful for the rest of your life. You know, you could end up being paralyzed and different things. So we tell our grandchildren all the time, make smart choices every day before they go to school, because it could be your last choice you make. So just keep that in mind and hug your kids, your grandkids. Something can happen at any day. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a safe holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tatiana?
I don't have anything. Thank you to all of our city staff. I appreciate how easy you make it for us. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Same with everybody up here. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you guys have a safe holiday. Just touching a little bit on all the ballots that were cast. It was less than 1,500. Everybody says their vote doesn't count. I think it was only about a 30 vote difference between it. Your vote does count. So the town that I think last I checked was about 12,500 people. About 10% actually voted. They didn't even have to leave the house to do it. So that's just a little something, but that's all I have.
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and be safe.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Norma, tonight you're the city manager.
Hey.
Well, I didn't have a report ready, Mayor, but I also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. Thanks to our city staff and our directors and our council, and yeah, be safe.
Mr. Fitzgibbons, you have that old Irish smile about you.
I had prepared some remarks, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
We'll go right ahead.
No, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Wow. See, yours were more expensive than ours. Your remarks are. And I'm not going to. The Sun Devil win. I can't say anything about that. Half of these guys are U of A fans.
Right.
See, there's one right there. I'm not going to, usually I'll report on, there were a lot of things going on, and there are a lot of things still going on with Arizona Water and a number of other organizations that I meet with during the week. There's been a lot of meetings and a lot of things happening. Gilbert and, well, Rick's gone, but Gilbert and the rest of them and Tim are staying very busy, and Gabe's staying very busy. So a lot of activity. We have a lot of businesses looking at Coolidge. There's a lot of things happening here. So everybody's working pretty hard. I appreciate all they do. The city staff does a good job. So I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Everybody be safe. We've had enough tragedy this year to last us a lifetime in this community. So let's not have any more. Happy Thanksgiving. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.